All right, so welcome to the Lazaro Lab. I'm Matt Lazaro, and Ryan is being a wiener today, so he will not be joining us. But I have one of my favorite clients, Cindy. Cindy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to say us, but Ryan's not here. I'm going to give him shit. So I wanted to bring you on because your progress over the span of the... Did you work with me for a year? About a year,
yeah,
right?
It was a year.
Yeah, about over the span of a year was incredibly, really awesome in my opinion. You know, so not only did you lose a ton of weight, you had a ton of other positive things that improved health wise and stuff. And just like you know, I think most of it's still
yes.
So in a good way overall. But yeah, so I guess let's start from the beginning. You know,
okay.
That was how long ago?
I'm going to
say,
yeah, 2018 is, I think.
Oh, wow.
Because I went 18 to 19. I know it was before COVID, so.
That's true, yeah.
That had finished up.
Gotcha. Oh, interesting.
That's the only way I could.
I know. I remember everything off of when the pandemic started, and things before it and everything after.
Yeah.
So yeah, you came in, because of Heidi and Wes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me why. Well, tell me exactly why you came to begin with.
Well, I tried to do it on my own, and I lost 10 pounds, but it was just going back and forth. And then it was actually because my son Wesley and daughter-in-law Heidi came, and they were progressing so well that it spurred me on. I was like, okay, I need help.
You want to get on the bandwagon?
Yeah.
So when you first started with me, what was your overall health state, mental state, fitness? Like, what was describe it so people understand how bad?
It
right?
was bad.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
It was bad because, well, I started at 18. In 15, I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease. I think only like 1% of the people have it.
Or less.
Yeah. And because of that, I was on 3 different prescriptions, methotrexate, prednisone, and then also I ended up having diabetes at the time, so I had to take the metformin. I was also had sleep apnea.
Oh yeah.
So I had the machine.
It's all coming back.
Yeah. I had to think too when you got in contact with me. I go, God, I got to think back here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I think within 6 months of starting with you, I was off the metformin.
Oh yeah.
The prednisone and
those things take time.
That took more time.
Yeah.
But I'm not on any prescription medicine at all.
There you go.
Yeah, this last June I got off the methotrexate.
Wow.
So it was 6 years.
Wow.
On that.
So, you know, it's funny. I don't think people realize how serious of a drug that is, though. And that along with the prednisone. Like,
right.
Those are some really heavy hitters that typically, don't they mostly tell you guys you're going to stay on them forever?
Yes.
Right?
And actually, my rheumatologist told me, he goes, if you can stay off of the medicine for a year, you're pretty much clear. It's not going to come back.
That's awesome.
But he goes, I've had many patients like right before that year. They'll get symptoms. So I have, it's June next year.
Yeah.
I think June is when I...
Going strong, though.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I haven't had any symptoms. But the other thing besides all that, just walking and stuff, it was like I was getting to the point, I had to even, as I was walking, because my balance was getting off.
Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioning that.
I had to think about when I was walking so that...
Man, that's
tough. And I don't remember, my hips were hurting me really bad.
Oh, yeah. You would say that you would end up having to take some time off of the gym here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the gym, though, you were exercising prior to coming in, right?
Yes, I had started. That was I started that and lost about 10 pounds, but it was just not.
It was kind of going like
Yeah.
this. Yeah, here and there. Your total weight loss, though, over the span of that year wasn't it around 80?
90
Oh,
pounds.
90 pounds. Wow.
Well, it was 80 with you, and I had
you add
10 that I
10,
did before. So I had lost a total of 90.
Yeah. 90 pounds. That's a lot to come off anybody.
Yeah.
And your little grandbabies keep you busy because
yeah, 4 of them.
they were. Let me think. So you weren't quite running around chasing them yet back then, no, or some of them.
Oh yeah, some of them.
Oh yeah,
were.
no, you were. Yeah, you're like, yes, I was. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I try to think back sometimes on it's just so many people sometimes. I'm like, wait, hold on. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So if it takes me a minute, sometimes it's
right.
probably me just aging. I don't know. So, 90 pounds, like what did it feel like overall because when you committed, like there was a big step for you, right? Like do you feel like you were kind of in denial before you started, in the sense that, I could do this on my own? And I think a lot of people can do it on their own, by the way. Like it's still
right. Well, over the years, had gone through different programs.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always knew I needed someone. I needed to go in and, what is the word I'm looking for? Like someone hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And it took me probably 3 months before I decided to actually come in and see you. Because because it was like, okay, if I make this commitment, I'm making it.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to do this for a year. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. And the cool part I remember is you didn't stop trying to live life normal. You still went out and did your things. You guys camped a lot.
Camped a lot.
And family gatherings and all of that. And it's not like those things were going to stop, which I told you they shouldn't stop anyways.
Right. Right. No. Yeah.
So 3 months to make a decision. So what kind of like, what was that kind of like pivotal moment where you were just like?
Because I felt like my health was deteriorating so quickly.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I was just like, I have to do something.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people that I end up getting to work with are usually at that breaking point.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to say that. It's like, because you've mentioned you've done things in the past. Did you do like Weight Watchers and
Weight
stuff?
Watchers, Jenny Craig.
Yeah. What else? Anything else aside from those? Did you do MetaFast and stuff before?
Not MetaFast.
Any diet books or anything like that?
Yeah. A little bit, not too much on the diet books. It was mainly going into like a weight loss center.
Yeah. Well, what do you feel like didn't stick when you did those things?
Sometimes it was buying their meals, like Jenny Craig, but it wasn't teaching you.
That's true.
How to do it yourself.
Yeah. You're like, so as long as you live on our meals, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Weight Watchers was a little different. When I was doing, that's when they had the point system.
Yeah,
each food was worth so many points.
It's pretty smart, actually. I think it's one of the things that it teaches people calorie management to a degree.
Right. And I did. I lost like 50 pounds, but then gained it back.
You're like, screw them points. I don't want to do points no more. Just like everybody, I remember you started off with some structured actual, a menu where like, hey, eat this, eat that.
Right.
When I first started with you. And then eventually you learned how to make all these adjustments on your own.
Right.
So that in itself, it's like, do you still find it fairly easy to make those little adjustments or to know whether you're kind of going overboard or not? Or
Well, I have gained some back, and you know,
but the majority of it's off though. Like,
oh yeah,
you're still.
But I am upset with myself right now because I do need to get that mindset that I had before.
Yeah.
And I was doing so good until COVID hit. I mean, we went to Mexico for 9 days. And I mean, we were eating what we wanted. We were doing what we want. And I think I had cut maybe 3 or 4 pounds when I got back. I was shocked. I thought it was be more. And it came right off because I was working out. I was still in the swing of things. And it's an excuse. But I think it did that closing of the gyms and being inside, it did something to me mentally where
it was tough on a lot of people, I think, too.
Yeah.
You know, I remember trying to reach out to as many of my old clients as possible because it was like, it's not something anyone's experienced in our lifetime. And it was such a unique thing to see across the board. Everyone experienced almost like a very similar deterioration of like mental health first, usually followed by, it's like, hey, this is fun hanging out all the time at home and not working. And it's like, oh no, I don't know. I don't like this anymore. It's kind of crazy actually to think about, you know. So it almost, I wonder how many people reconsider like maybe retirement doesn't sound that great, you know, like obviously there were a lot more restrictions implied,
right?
But still, it's just like, you know, taking away. I never heard so many people say that the gym was such a pinnacle part of their mental health ever.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time people realized, I think, that it was even playing a role in that.
Yeah, you know, and they shut the gyms down 2 or 3 times over the year.
Oh gosh, yeah. In other states, it was even worse. And
yeah.
Imagine
being
worse in California, right? No, but I remember reading some statistics that during the pandemic, over the first few months after they started imposing the lockdowns, the average unwanted weight gain for women, actually, I remember I saved the stat. I think it was up to 28 pounds and about almost 20 pounds for men on average.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So for U.S. adults, the average weight gain, unwanted weight gain, was 29 pounds. Oh, actually, so I had these numbers backwards. Men, it was 37.
Oh, the men did more?
Yeah, they're overachievers apparently. And women, it was 22. But specifically, the demographic that experienced the most of the unwanted weight gain was Gen Z and millennials. And then the lowest was actually boomers and what they call Gen Xers. Oh yeah, so like the really. No, Gen Xers. Yeah. So that's like between 43 and 56, according to this. It's funny they put the word boomers on there.
Hey, I'm the end of the boomers.
Yeah. Oh, you're the end of the boomers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's also another thing I want to bring up. Most people, when they're over a certain age, feel like it's just impossible to lose weight, right?
Right.
Do you mind sharing your age?
Now?
She's at the end of the boomers. Let's just put it like that.
Okay, well, yeah, I think that the boomers go till 1960, and I was born December of 59. So
okay, yeah. So
I'm at the end.
Yeah, you are.
I'll be 62 in December.
There you go.
So I was 50, what did we say? 18? No, 19. 18 was 19, when I started. So I would have been 58 when I started with you.
And in most cases, when I meet people even in their 40s, and I'm like a couple of years away from you when they're talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, it's just not ever going to happen." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
it's the most wildest thing. And even did you have thyroid issues going on?
No,
that was not you. No, that was somebody else. No. That's another.
No, I have enough of that.
You're like, I got enough other things going on.
Other things going on in my life.
But that's the thing. It's like being at, you were a couple of years away from becoming 60, and it was like and you still manage to lose a total of 90 pounds. Like, it just, I can't emphasize that enough, because there's so many people in that age demographic that have just given up, arguably, right? And if you look at just like the common things that come up health-wise over time, it just progressively gets worse the older you get.
Right.
And it's always the top three: diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, or cancer, sorry. And it's like being overweight definitely puts people at a much higher risk.
Right.
Exponentially. I think it's like 200% increased fold chance of not only developing those diseases, but dying from them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, right? So, it's, and the thing is, it's like, even when we started, breaking down your diet and stuff like that, there really wasn't too many things that were completely off as a restriction.
Right.
Right. I know I had certain things I advised you here and there on to check.
Right. I think the biggest thing about my diet was there wasn't not a lot of carbs. I mean, like, I kept the bread.
But it's not like you did have bread occasionally.
Occasionally, yes, but not on a regular basis.
No.
It's like when we went camping, we had chips and
dip.
dip.
Yeah, you had your chips, your
dip,
and what else was your thing? I think you said you guys would always bring. It was probably the chips, actually.
It probably was.
Now I'm thinking about it, because I know that I used to be like, man, if I get a hold of a bag of chips, it's personal size, regardless of the size of the bag.
Yeah, because I'd say when we get home, if there was any chips or dip left, it was in the garbage.
Yeah, and it's funny because those things it's so cheap to buy. You
Yeah,
get like a bag of chips for $3 or whatever it is, and there goes like 1,000 calories that you can just mow through. It's almost as easy as to consume chips as it is to drink like a sugary drink for some people. Right. I actually would have a hard time doing that, like Frappuccino or something. Oof.
No, I've totally gotten away from those sweet.
It's crazy. Occasionally, I'll go by Starbucks when I'm really fiending for some, like, they have a really strong cold brew, and so
I love the cold brew.
Yeah, and so I'll go inside, and I always just kind of observe what's being put on the counter, and my goodness, I'm like, this looks like 20,000 calories just sitting there. People just picking it up like it's nothing, and I'm there at like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, "You're drinking this at 8 o'clock in the morning?" Woo!
Yeah. Oh, I know, it's crazy. When I do the Starbucks, I like the cold brew too, but I just say put a stevia in it.
Yeah. What do you think was one of the more definitive things that was like I never thought about changing that in your diet? Do you remember anything like that?
I think the biggest thing was the serving size of meat that you
the recommendation. Yeah. Was it more or less?
It was more.
Oh, it was more than you thought.
Yeah. Before they had always say like 3 ounces, and I think mine with you it was like 6 ounces. You'd have me eating.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, did we know? Oh, yeah. I think also we noticed that you were sensitive to if you didn't have enough protein, it was a pretty, it affected your progress, if I remember.
Right. Yes, it did.
Yeah, and that right there, I think what people don't realize is as we age in general, we need more protein because your ability to synthesize protein goes down as you age. So naturally consuming more actually helps.
Right.
And it helps with weight loss because, I mean, the likelihood that you're going to, when you eat all that big, 6 ounce piece of chicken breast or something like that, you're probably not as hungry as you would have been if you ate 3.
Yeah. No. It is. That is what I noticed by having so much protein. You were not hungry.
And then also, didn't your lipids and cholesterol improve, if I remember?
It did.
Like your triglycerides came down.
My triglycerides did. Now you're making me really think back.
Yeah, I know. I just remember
because even now, I mean, I still have to take blood tests because of my disease.
Oh yeah,
like about every 3 months.
Yeah.
And so they're not checking the lipids, but everything else they're checking, and
it's all the inflammatory markers and stuff, right? The things that will show inflammation.
Yeah.
And generally, oh no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And it also he keeps an eye on my glucose level too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wasn't it when you started the prednisone that you ended up with diabetes?
It did.
It was after, right?
Yeah, but he in the beginning put me on a really high dosage of prednisone.
Oh yeah.
And so that's probably what did it. But
when being 90 pounds overweight didn't help.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I really, honestly, I don't know what my blood sugar was. Well, I do know before from past, going in for your yearly.
Yeah.
I was always in the hundreds, like 110 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So like just
but
border.
On that first one, when he told me that I was diabetic, I was like 208.
Oh, wow. That's pretty high. Yeah.
But I was so sick. And
it's hard to tell what's going on.
The part I didn't say was I lost my hearing totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's one of the side effects of the autoimmune disease.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It attacks my small blood vessels.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to turn this. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
It attacks your small blood vessels, and normally it's in your lungs, in your sinuses and stuff. But it went to my ears, so that was rare. And it took 2 ear, nose, throat to figure that out.
Wow.
Doctors, yeah.
Was it like all of a sudden?
Yes.
Really? It wasn't like just like subtle.
They don't even know. They do say stress has some to do with it. But I had been sick. I had allergies. And I was under a lot of stress at the job I had at the time. And so I just noticed first I was getting a really bad cough.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
And then my right ear felt like it was plugged. You know when you get sick, and so I kept thinking, well, it'll go away. Well, then all of a sudden I realized I couldn't even hear out of it.
Oh my goodness.
So that's when I went into my primary, and he gave me antibiotics saying, oh yeah, that's fine. It's just an ear infection. And it didn't clear up.
Oh my goodness.
I went through, I don't know how many antibiotics that summer with that, because then all of a sudden it started going in my left ear, and I was panicking because I'm like, I can't hear. Jeez. I got to the point my family had to write things down on a tablet, and then I could answer them.
Wow. And you just mentioned, though, recently you started
hearing better.
Well, not recently. I think at the end of when you were dieting, or in the middle of that somehow, you were like, it's weird. I think I can hear on my left ear.
Yeah, it's definitely the hearing's come back in the left ear. I still need a hearing aid to hear. Otherwise, I'm struggling, but I do hear.
Is it, conversations with your rheumatologist, is it rare that anybody actually improves after they get bad from talking with him?
Well, the thing with Lyme disease is you go in remission. It's almost like cancer, right?
Yeah.
You go in remission.
Yeah.
And so you just hope that it doesn't come back.
Yeah. But what about all the other symptoms, like the just in general, other symptoms related
okay,
to
because there was
fatigue. Yeah.
And I don't know if my energy's ever come back 100% to what I was.
Yeah.
But thinking of that, I think about one of the things I remember discussing with you was sleep. That was what the big thing you said.
Yes.
That I had never heard of on going on diets was sleep. How are you sleeping? I'm going, I don't know if I'll ever sleep good, because when I take my hearing aids out, I have pressure in my ears that are like when you're going up in an airplane or in the mountains, you want to pop your ears. Yep. Okay, that's how my ears feel all the time.
Oh,
when the hearing aids are
I remember bringing that up.
It relieves that pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
And plus I have the swishing 24/7. So when I first started coming to you, it's like, well, I have to stay up super late until I'm so fatigued that when I take out the hearing aids, I can sleep because of the pressure and everything.
Wow. I remember that.
And then eventually it did. I was able to start, and I have no idea that had to do with the weight loss, but eventually I was able to start. Because I'd wake up in the morning, it's like, I got to get up and put my hearing aids in because of the pressure.
Yeah, man. I remember you telling me about that. I was just imagining how irritated I get when I get like water in my ears. Like, I just want to I don't know, slam my head against
Yeah.
something.
And it's weird. Sometimes the pressure's more.
Oh.
And I don't know what it's from.
Wow.
And so when the pressure goes up, my hearing goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Wow. That's pretty wild. So was it that you noticed your sleep gradually improving, or?
I think gradually improving.
Okay. Because we talked about like sleep hygiene in general, like, hey, maybe try not to, stare on your phone or watch
Right.
TV before bed, and
Right.
create a better environment to go to bed.
Right.
I know you started in, did you end up just getting a better routine in general that you can remember?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It just seemed like I could take them out and I could go to bed and I could sleep longer. Because before, as soon as I woke up, it didn't matter if it was 4 o'clock in the morning or 6:30. I had to get up.
Yeah.
I can't just lay there, and try to go back to sleep because of the pressure and the swishing. But eventually I got to the point I could go back to sleep.
Nice. Yeah. I remember that. That must have been quite a relief.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm sleeping more.
I'm sleeping more. It's amazing.
And then as you lost more weight, I think you were saying that your hips started feeling better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because I remember that was one thing that was bothering you a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd stand up and I felt like an 80-year-old woman trying to walk.
I don't recall. Did you ever have them? Did you ever go into like somebody to assess it or anything like that?
I didn't. I did have to do the bone density test.
Oh, yeah.
Because of being on prednisone.
Yeah, that degrades that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, how did that end up? That was fine though, right?
It was fine. I think I had a little bit. Now I'm trying to remember again. It's been a couple of years. It wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
But it seems like in one of my hips was a little bit of dandruff.
Probably like normal wear and tear.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But one of the most important things I try to remind people is you need to exercise in general, because that builds bone density even better than pretty much anything. I mean, one of the things they always say, drink your milk, and like, not really. That doesn't do that much. Man, that was probably one of the bigger farces out there. All those milk commercials.
Right.
Those were pretty wild. I remember they ranged from like professional athletes to just the most random things to convince people to drink more milk. I'm like,
I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. I could never drink milk to begin with, so I never did. But it never sounded good. It just seems kind of weird. Like, oh, I'm going to drink a cold glass of milk.
And I used to, but you know what? Yeah. That's probably about the time I used to do like at dinner, a small glass of milk. Mm-hmm. But I cut that out after coming to you, and I haven't missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it's one of the most unnecessary things that people don't need, right? So what overall would you say, what part of the whole experience, left you with being able to feel like you can do it on your own? Because for the most part, outside of, like once the pandemic thing screwed everybody up, like it literally, like people that I've worked with like years and years and years in the past were calling me after like, oh, I don't know what happened. Things were going fine until then. And but outside of that, right? Like, what do you feel like was there one thing or multiple little things, that you took away from the program?
Yeah, I do tend to, even though I've gained weight, there's a lot of things like I make sure I get the protein in. I'm just, it's cutting back on the size.
Yeah.
I still don't have crackers or chips or anything in my house.
Yeah. That's good. It's a big difference when they're not around.
Yeah. My grandkids don't even ask for me.
They're like, I gave up on grandma.
At grandma's house, back at this grandma's, we don't have all that. I have other things for you, snacks.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like the things that we normalize, right? Like, it's like, it's funny, like I remember when I was growing up, my grandma, she used to give me saltine crackers and Coca-Cola. And those little caramels, the little twist ones or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and those are super chewy. And then, lo and behold, I had to have like a full silver grill after a while because of all the tooth decay I was experiencing. Yeah, who'd have thought, right? Like,
yeah.
But it was funny. It's like those things like that were completely like normalized, which is I don't know. It's like
growing up, Tang.
Oh yeah, Tang, Nesquik. Yeah, that one. I remember that stuff. That stuff was kind of. I don't know. I haven't had it in so long, so it's probably actually kind of gross.
I think it was. I don't think I liked it even back then.
Yeah. So overall, do you still kind of plan your shopping this in a similar way? That's good.
I do. Yeah.
And what about when you go out to eat?
We don't go. We don't go out to eat that often.
Oh, okay. Is it just one of those things?
We never have been big go to restaurants to eat.
Yeah.
So, and I just prefer to make my own stuff, cook at home.
It's so much better.
Even camping. I love going in our trailer instead of going and staying at a hotel.
Oh yeah.
And then because you have more control.
Oh, big time.
Even though you have the chips in the
you're like, well, it's right there. I can grab it. The proximity thing. It's funny. It's like, occasionally I have people text me, and when they're on their program, and they'll say, "Man, I just this cupcakes, chips, cookies, whatever." They're like, "Man, it's speaking to me," And I'll ask them like, "Are you like right near it, or like do you keep it out in the open, or like why do you even have it?" And then start having those conversations, and a lot of times they realize, oh, like it's for nobody really, like because like in terms of if you say it's for, a lot of parents will say, oh, it's for my children. It's like, really? Is it? Like you just let your kids go in the pantry and eat whatever they want. 9 times out of 10 or more, that's not what's happening, right?
Right.
And so who's eating the majority of it, right? It's there for them.
Yeah, and I'd rather not. I know myself too well.
Yeah, but yeah, there's good reason for. That's the thing. It's like there's only a finite amount of self-control everybody has. Like there's never, no one ever has like unlimited amounts of self-control. Even I have my limits, It is what it is, But did it make it easier to kind of keep going, knowing that you were feeling better? Because I know,
yes,
that was probably like an immediate part.
Yeah, the health part.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember. Like, I don't think your weight moved much in the very beginning.
I felt like
maybe
it did.
And then it kind of didn't for a while.
And then it didn't for a while. And then, it was like just persevering and getting through it.
Yeah.
I think I had so much weight on, and I changed the diets, by changing it so drastically. At first, it dropped really fast. And then it was like, okay, we got a pound this week. Oh,
yeah.
This week we got 2. Oh, this week we didn't get any.
Yeah.
Oops, it went the other way.
Well, it's like, well, I did go camping. But you would also have, like periodic fluctuations of stress that know there was a noticeable difference in your weight, and that's one thing I think people forget. It's like stress. It can affect so many things and so many factors in regards to whether someone is able to lose weight or not lose weight. Like, do you feel like you manage stress differently?
I think I did before the pandemic. Tell you, I just have to get my mind back into it. I mean, I'm pretty lucky now. I don't have a lot of stress in my life right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm working very part-time.
That's nice. Good.
Out of the house. I have a home office.
Yeah.
So, though my boss can be stressful sometimes. He does like to throw me He even says, I am throwing you another curveball.
At least he's giving you a heads up.
He does give me a heads up. He admits to me. But it's very part-time. And
well, that's good.
I think stress, if I think now versus back 4 years ago or whatever, there's a lot less.
Good. Well, that's good. Just getting rid of more of it is beneficial.
Yeah.
If you can, at least. If you can change the circumstance, it definitely is helpful. What else was I going to ask you? Are you exercising still routinely?
I am still, yeah.
Yeah. How often do you go right now?
I try to go 4 days a week.
Nice. There you go.
It doesn't always happen because some commitment will come up, and
Yeah.
so so I try to get in there 4 days a week, and they finally opened up the sauna again.
Oh, finally! I know. Like
it was like I think the summer they finally, and I didn't realize you had to really convince me on that sauna.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I remember. Go ahead and tell people. I almost forgot about that, actually.
Yeah. So they finally opened that up. And gosh, after a year, I forgot how good you feel when you come out of that sauna.
I remember you were like, you want me to do what after I work out?
Yeah.
You're like, I just worked out.
At first it was 5 minutes. Then it was 10 minutes. I go, you got to be kidding me. But I am still making 10 minutes now.
Yeah. It's very fascinating the amount of there's even more prevailing literature coming out on like these really positive effects of being exposed to really high temperature. Just like, hey, let's almost cook ourselves for temporarily. But that's the thing. It's like there's such a positive anti-inflammatory response for a lot of people, especially, and I can't stress this enough. I feel like all my clients that have autoimmune issues, including myself, like the sauna seemed to fix a lot of things.
Oh, it does.
And manage pain better and pain tolerance. And, it's everything just feels better.
The joy, like I say, the first day I went back in, they finally opened it. And I mean, I came out and it was just like, no pain.
Yeah.
And that's one of the side effects is I'll ever so often get in the joints, the arthritis type of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sucks. But you gotta keep moving, right? Like,
and that's what I do. I just keep moving.
As long and arguably, staying moving is what prevents things from progressing worse. Like I always feel like when you start seeing people, when they stop doing all the things they know are helping, it's where it just starts to really deteriorate.
Yeah,
it's like the pain management becomes really, really, really difficult because then it's like, the way I see it is like it's almost like hey, I've been pushing this rock uphill and I'm gonna let it roll down a little bit and then try to do it again.
Yeah.
Instead of just, hey, it's probably better if we just continuously push even if it's a little slower.
Right.
But yeah, I mean the sauna part is I've had some people be very reluctant to try it. Yeah.
They're thinking that let's go the opposite way. You never convinced me
the cold
on the cold showers. No way. I said, mm-mm.
Did you try it once? Like just kind of like.
I might have, but I was like,
you tried it. Yeah, I think you texted me like, this is not going to happen.
You can't convince me on this one.
Yeah, well, hey, 9 out of 10. Like that's good. Secretly, I'm just coming up with random things for people to not.
just to torture them.
Let's see how far everyone's going to take it. Resilience goes a long ways. I'm just saying. The cold does hurt a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to think about jumping into like a cold river or pool or something. It's like
I know I do it.
The first thing you do is you go.
Yeah, there's always been like there's always a couple of different methods. It's either like kind of slowly allow yourself to get into, or you just jump right in it. And arguably, though, the jumping right in is less painful than the slowly getting in. Yeah. It's just like peeling off a tape or a Band-Aid off your skin. It's like just rip it off. You're better off.
See, I grew up around a swim school, and I was a competitive diver.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I traveled all over the United States, and sometimes it's just like, oh God, just jump in that water. It's freezing.
Get it over with.
Get it over with.
Oh shit. Yeah, the diving stuff is actually kind of scary. I'll never forget when I was learning how to swim. We had this community pool, and there was they had a high dive thing at one point. Eventually, they took it out, but I remember the only reason I did it is because there were so many kids behind me, pressuring me and telling me they were going to beat me up. And I was just like, oh, well, if I die, I die, you know? Like, I mean, I didn't die, but I didn't do it again after because it was terrifying.
Right.
Hold on a sec. My
Disconnected.
sound. I don't know. Let me check something real. Jonathan, my sound seems off. Sorry, guys. Give me one second.
What happened?
I don't know. It sounds like I can't hear out of my...
You have
One, two. I can only hear out of... Oh, well, I can hear out of my right ear.
Now you can be like me.
Well, I don't want that.
How about now?
One. Yeah, that's weird.
Huh.
The headphone connection right at the...
The bass?
Yeah, right at the base.
Looks fine.
This is all the way in.
I know. It just all of a sudden cut out. I wonder if it's a short. Let's see. Well, I can hear it on my right ear.
Yeah, you're still going.
Yeah. As long as it's recording,
Okay.
I'm okay.
Perfect. All right.
Can you hear it? Say
I
something?
can hear
Okay.
both ears.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah. As long,
can hear.
as long as you can hear, we're good. What's that's okay. Just wanted to make sure we're
But
good
you
on
talk
time.
about that because I competed from the time I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So wait, when you're 3, how high are you guys?
The low board.
Yeah. That's
I could
high
do a
enough for
forward
me.
dive. Let's see, forward dive, a back dive,
Uh-huh.
a forward dive with a half twist,
Oh,
and a
wow.
front somersault.
Yeah, I could do a cannonball like that.
But I guess I was about 5. Well, my mom was a diving coach.
Okay.
And so I was about 5, and we went to Concord, I think it was. And they have, the platforms.
Yeah.
The big one. Yeah.
Terrifying.
And so we go up there, and there's like 4 or 5 of us from the team.
Uh-huh.
And no one would go. And so I guess this is the story I was told. I looked at everybody, go, are you guys going to go or not? They said, well, go ahead and go then. I said, okay. So I just walked right off of it.
Oh.
And I go, and my mom goes, well, where were you thinking when you jumped off? I said, I was watching the kites. People were flying kites out in the park. I was just looking at the kites as I jumped
As
off.
you jumped off.
That's 33 feet.
Oh,
Those 10-meter
wow.
towers.
Holy moly. 33
3
feet.
feet.
The inside of here, that green rig is 15 feet.
Yeah.
You were 3?
5.
5.
No, I was 5 by
Still,
that time.
I was, damn, that's insane. Did you just jump in like a pencil?
Just jumped in first. Oh, yeah. My arms wouldn't have been strong enough at that age to. Because when you hit you're like going 30 miles an hour when you hit that water.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So if you ever watch the divers on the platforms, those people are.
Yeah. I remember jumping off cliffs that were significantly higher than I thought out in Lake Tulloch. Yeah, it was terrifying, actually. I knocked the wind out of myself a few times. Never was like, oh, I'm going to die. And I can barely swim after doing that.
And the water's cold, too. That makes a difference.
Yeah, I remember it was super hot out there, though. So I
it
mean, it
felt
gets
good.
so hot out there. Like it's. I would argue it gets hotter than even here in that area. It's just so, I don't know. It's not that far, but far enough.
They don't have the Delta breezes.
No, not at all. I definitely wouldn't go swimming in the Delta.
No.
Did wakeboarding a few times, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah, I used
about
to do
this.
water skiing out there, but
Yeah, I've never been a water person. Not afraid of heights. Or no, I am afraid of heights, but you add water to it, and it's even worse. I don't know why. Like, go
yeah,
figure.
that part, yeah.
Rock climbing seems safer to me. I don't know why.
Oh no. If you fall in water, you're okay as long as it's deep enough.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, I don't know. I remember. Oh, I do recall another time in Hawaii. There's this big rock that everyone jumps off into the ocean.
Was that Hawaii or was it Maui?
No, it's on
okay.
Oahu. Yeah, it's near the north side, the North Shore. And I remember though, it didn't look that bad because I saw a whole bunch of people doing it, and we climb up there, and I'm like, oh shit. And then the kids are doing backflips and everything, and they're like, hey, all you got to do is time it. I'm like, what do you mean? You have to time it with the freaking waves. And I was like, oh shit, are you kidding me? They're like, yeah. I was like,
Oh, so you had to wait till the wave came in.
yeah. So I got it kind of wrong because then my feet plowed into the sand because it's
Right.
moving, and so my legs were in the sand, and I had to like pull up, and you're getting smashed by the wave.
Right.
Yeah, that was a bad day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went boogie boarding, got destroyed on the waves. It's like,
They
this is
can be
not
pretty.
Oh, it's so much different out there rather than just like, we would surf sometimes in Santa Cruz and stuff. And I was like, this is not that bad. They're way different. So I stay away from that. I don't know why. It seems safer just to climb or mountain bike. It seems safer. I don't know. Probably not, but in my head.
In your head, it does.
Oh, man.
See, you like the mountain bikes. I like the off-road motorcycles.
Oh, yeah. You guys do that.
Yeah,
out there,
and the granddaughters are now have little motorcycles.
Really? That's awesome.
The other grandparents aren't happy about it.
Oh, I bet.
But that's what my kids did.
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
And so they're all excited about their kids having.
Oh, it's funny. Like, kids are they absorb how to do those things so much faster, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my son is doing crazy stuff skateboarding now in just such a small period of time, going down these big ass ramps and flying out of the bowl. And I'm like, I can't do it. And I'm like, not going to try either. No. Oh, man. But no, it's all fun. So what do you, are you doing anything else with like your fitness or anything like that right now?
I mean, I'm still, membership at the gym and trying to go in 4 days a week and focus on different parts of the body each time.
There you go.
And do just a little bit of cardio and then hit that sauna. Yeah, because I know my kids keep trying to get me to go into CrossFit, and I'm just like, I said, you know what? I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
You don't need to drink the Kool-Aid. It's okay.
Yeah.
I only do it to make sure I can beat Ryan in the workout.
There you go.
You hear that, Ryan? So yeah, I don't want to eat up all your time. My time too, actually. I have to still work today. Go figure, right? But so what would you advise to people or anybody that thinks, that really feels like it's just impossible to make change, that spent a lot of time trying things? Like what do you recommend to them?
You always can, if you're in the right mindset, you can do whatever you want to do.
That's very true.
And you've got to have patience. And I think
right there.
This day and age, everything's instantaneous.
Yeah, that's very true.
And losing weight is not instantaneous. You've got, and you're going to have your ups and downs, but don't give up.
Yeah, it is really, really hard. What kind of person do you recommend coaching for? I don't think it's for everybody. In what situation would you recommend someone, hey, maybe go seek out some coaching? If they're really
wanting to do it, and they're really, like I said, it took me 3 months.
Yeah.
I had to get to that point.
Yeah.
And you can't convince somebody until they are ready to do it.
That's very true. And
I have even seen people that say, oh yeah, I want to do this, but they really didn't.
No.
They weren't ready.
No. What do you think makes someone ready, though? It's always been an interesting thing to think about for me.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I guess you've got to hit whatever your bottom is. And mine was I could physically feel my body deteriorating.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before, too, about like the motivating factors that people have. Like it's usually the ones that work best are the ones that cause pain. Right, going away from pain rather going towards pleasure, and it's And
you've got to do it for yourself, not for anybody else.
Yes, yeah, and that right there, I think is such a crucial thing to understand. And I think people think that they think they're doing that, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like unless they really go through the layers and understand, like maybe some of these initial goals are surface area, or in a sense, they're just not deep enough to really anchor onto. Because at the end of the day, once you start feeling better, it's hard to want to go back to feeling like crap.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you kind of get onto that role almost,
Yeah.
Because Yeah, no, go ahead.
And you do have to be ready. That's the biggest thing. You have to be ready. Are you really ready to commit? It's like anything.
And then also, you're not like, it's not like you felt motivated the entire time.
No. You had your setbacks.
Yeah.
But you sat there. To me, I would just go, do I want to go back to what I was doing? No.
Yeah.
And don't beat yourself up if you mess up. It's like, okay, just get back on track.
It's very simple almost, right?
Yeah.
It should be, but.
See, I need to talk to myself right now.
So saying this is an intervention. Not I'm just playing. No, you're still doing fine. I think you are maybe beating yourself up a little too much. And this is probably the same conversation I've had with hundreds of people in the last year. It's just, everyone's been through a collective cluster, that really put us pushed us in our stress limits to the max overall, and along with all the other bully BS. And it's like, but the solution is still the same, right? Like nothing has really changed in terms of like, oh well, how do we fix this? Right. There's this new diet. No.
Yeah, what is that? The stuff that you drink it, and it's supposed to, the fat disappears, like it melts the fat.
There's a lot of things like that. The most ridiculous one right now is this. It's huge in the UK. It's a coffee that they claim promotes weight loss. Is really, really popular. It's yeah, I didn't even think it was a real thing until I started going on and looking. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, but there's gimmicks and fads, and it's like, if I feel like anytime, because that's the other thing that I feel like you have an easier way of discerning whether something's bullshit or not now.
Yes.
Like your bullshit detector is like really keen now.
Yeah. That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Because I remember not only you, but everyone usually brings up, well, what about this? Or my friend did this. And I always walk you through it. It's like, okay, so let's see, what is it? What's it saying it's doing? How is it saying it's doing it? And is there a way that we can measure it to meet its claims? And 99.9% of the time it's bullshit.
Right. Yeah, it is, because nothing's a miracle.
No. Not I mean, the old adage of, if it's too good to be true. Yeah. Pretty much everything that sounds too good to be true is always indefinitely not. Yeah. I've yet to experience something that defies that. So
yeah.
Well, all right. Well, do you want to add anything?
I can't think of anything right now.
That's okay. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Really.
Yeah, we talked about it for a long time.
I know you. I'm glad you committed to a date for me.
Yes. Okay, just let me know and I'll put it on my calendar.
Yep, exactly. Well, you're an amazing person, and you've done amazing things, and I appreciate you entrusting me back then, and probably even still to this day, when you still ask questions here and there. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, and look forward to maybe getting you on again. We'll talk about more stuff later. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and other than that, have a good one, guys. And that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.